And one of the other factors that like no one really even knows or is realizing at this point, besides a very few academics, is that we haven't even talked about like how there's going to be a population collapse as well. Which is going to kill demand again.
How's that? How is there going to be population?
Going to peter out at about 9 billion. That's the estimate.
Yeah, and because like most people think this is actually literally my next video, which is coming out in 2 days. Holsworthy Live, check it out. But like most people assume that we're getting overpopulated. This is unsustainable. Climate change is just one of the indicators of this.
Yeah.
All of this is an outdated view of the world. What we now can be very certain of is that we're headed towards a population collapse.
How's that?
Yeah. So you know how,
and that's why Facebook needs to take over so they can build the robots to care for us.
That's also
meta.
No, but that's also like a very, very, very good point because you're gonna need these technologies because. Anyway, so I'll tell you
for my own spinach plant, Charlie.
Yeah, you could, but like not everyone will. So
sucks to them.
Everyone doesn't want to live in a swamp in Louisiana.
Let them die.
They will eventually.
But, all right, go on because this is.
Well, I don't want. Well, I sort of go into my video, but like the thing is like, look, when you look at the population of the world, it's crazy the rise, right? And like literally 3 billion until 60s, and then. Yeah. The boomers, it became 6 billion.
Yeah.
So it just keeps going up. But what also you don't know is like the birth rate graph is going down. And that's because of everywhere in the world. The only place that it's not is Africa. And early indicators are showing that even in Africa, so places like Kenya, the birth rate has declined dramatically. And there's one reason for it, urbanization. So it's just a prolonged effect of industrial revolution. The third world just like sort of is catching up late. That's why it's happening later over there. But everywhere in the world, the birth rate is going down.
Because it's not affordable to have kids, basically, right?
It's not but you don't need kids because people back in the day needed kids to like work. The feudal system meant that the bigger your family is, the more well off you will be.
Yeah.
In urban life, it's actually the opposite. Anyway, so that's what's leading it, and it's just these trends take a bit of time. But now you can see like places like the Western world, which were it's literally like COVID. It's the same sort of graph.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
If it's above 1, it's going to rise rapidly, and if it goes below, you don't even realize it's going to go down pretty quickly too. Which is all kind of already is happening in Australia. That's why like the boomers are a lot more than us.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that in itself is going to lead to like this incredibly reduced aggregate demand, which is why Jordan, you might think is joking, but he's actually right. That's why we need certain tech institutions to be able to build those robots that will be able to sustain us.
And we will maintain those robots.
Yeah, your duty remains clear.
But what I'm saying is that who has control? My entire argument isn't that there shouldn't be robots. It's who controls those robots.
Yeah, and it should be the state.
Because like because of sci-fi, our entire idea is that it's either controlled by us or it's controlled by the robots themselves.
Yeah.
The AI is going to take over.
But that's the next inevitable step.
That's what old mate says.
That's what I personally don't agree with. I might be wrong because these are obviously like...
No, but everybody thinks that that's 10 years away. Whoa. I'm saying it's 500
I don't think it's... What I know is like literally 10 to 20 years away is that all of that power that you can think of that the robot will do is not necessarily done by the robot, but the fucking people that own the technology.
Who is a robot, so it will.
Who is already a robot.
Yeah.
Hey, should we move on to like any...
All right, that's the conclusion. Mark Zuckerberg's a robot. You heard it.
Well, we all knew that, but I mean...
Give us some subscriptions for that. We got to the bottom of it.
Wait a sec. We can't stop right there. I just need to know, like, if the... Just 1 sec.
Time for 11-step money plan. Real knowledge.
No, wait. Just real quickly. So if the population is gonna dive... Are we screwed or like we can?
No,
well,
I think it's all a lie
readjust.
anyway.
Really?
It's just one generation isn't going to be able to live in like an Impala Homes nursing retirement centre. That's pretty much the. Oh my God! What a nightmare apocalypse.
It could be.
It's just going to have to be. You're just going to have to live like most Indian families.
No. This is what I want to know. Just
wait. What does that mean?
It just means that you're going to have to look after your grandparents. Oh no.
No, wait a sec. This is what I want to know.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen too. But
this is what I this is what I want to know real quick. Just really quickly. Don't go super into it. But like, you're a pretty, clever fellow, Chiku. What's your like utopian? What is the best case scenario? Let's just say, okay, the population is going to tank. let's say all the big tech companies are broken up. Somehow we all have the smarts to break them up. Then they start to get regulated. Some become government owned. All's fine and dandy. And somehow the environment gets cleaned up too. When did that happen? Oh, it must have been between Play School and whatever fucking shows on after Play School. That's all happened.
That's a sick life.
So what happens?
It's gonna be like.
So what happens now?
It's gonna be like Jetsons.
I just need someone.
That's the one, because we eventually would have to not rely on large populations because look, the system
that's what they were alluding to in the Jetsons, that everybody lived in these bubbles
Probably.
above the Earth. So even then, it is pretty much Blade Runner.
Pretty much
it's just the robot is sassy instead of trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Basically, you just wouldn't need to work that much. Like other people would be working for you. They'll be producing the wealth, but our like entire system is not going to be based on us consuming that. You know what I mean?
That's like dope.
Right
That could be
now,
dope.
Jeff Bezos is able to accumulate that much of money because people like
buying.
us are willing to buy things. Eventually, will then be less people. Our system cannot rely on consumer demand, which means it'll be the end of capitalism, essentially.
Yeah.
So the end of capitalism sounds good and dandy, but it could be pretty chaotic, at least for the time being. Look, eventually, in the long run, the world adapts. It's going to be able to structure itself unless it's the end of civilization, like for the dinosaurs, which I don't think is soon.
I do.
Why?
Because of climate change?
Well, one of the reasons.
Well, what else?
Also, there's a little thing that nobody seems to mention, which is that the oceans are dying.
Dude.
And there's massive global deforestation.
Yeah.
And we're getting less and less arable land.
Look, in the long run,
I don't like
there'll
the
be
whole
like a lot of
ocean
people
dying.
dead because of it. There'll be starvation. There'll be
But it's not gonna be us.
migrations.
Jesus.
There'll be a war.
Nice.
The whole point is, I don't know any of the people that are going to die. Maybe Ali's driver, and he'll be like, huh.
Dude, I think he's dead.
We shouldn't laugh.
I think he's dead.
Damn it, Jordan. Just as soon as he was painting a really utopic Jetsons picture, you
Well,
had to
I'll
get in
give
there.
you something utopic.
Well, that's one
I've been looking
scenario,
further
but-
into it, Ali. I'll just finish on this, but I've been repeating this point ad nauseum, but I've been looking into it a lot more. There is enough money in superannuation. Thank you very much, St. Keating, for doing this.
Shout out Future Super.
Shout out Future Super. Bank Australia switched to both of them.
Switch already.
But
Switch.
they could do what you're proposing, Ali. It is actually in your hands. It is not in the government's hands. It's not about convincing Scott Morrison about this, where you'd be like, fuck you on about. This isn't about the sharks. Arrest him. Like this. There is $2 trillion in superannuation. And you only need a fraction of that to buy the ASX 200.
What's the ASX?
The most profitable companies in Australia. The top 200 most profitable companies in Australia would cost a fraction of what is in superannuation.
Wow.
And so if we started being more conscious of our superannuation and we just started putting it into future accounts, super accounts like Future Super, instead of just like, the retail one because I worked at Kmart.
Yeah, Host Plus. It helps for hospitality people. Does it actually though? But there's a picture of a guy making coffee on the thing that I filled out.
That's the only
Just
thing we
like
can
me.
do now.
Huh?
That's literally the only thing we can do at this point.
That is the only thing you can do, but there is a lot of hope
People saying
in
they're
that.
doing
If
it?
people started getting more educated, huh?
Are people saying
He's
they're
so
doing
nervous.
it?
He's like, "Oh, people, are they doing it?"
Ask them if they're fucking changing.
Just ask them. They're on the camera.
Are you changing? It takes 4 minutes. It
What's the
takes
answer?
less time than for you to wank.
Everyone's response is going to be, I don't have any.
Someone's saying Amazon is more than the entire ASX. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's America's
internationally.
problem.
Yes,
They could probably do it if they put all their 401ks together.
Jordan, everyone
But
has supers.
Well, you change.
You
You
have to have
change
a
the world, Miss Love.
How many?
One guy is saying, "I'm on it now."
I'll take that.
That's a
What's his
start.
name? What's his name? Shout him out.
Holy fuck! Sorry, I missed it. Changing Punkstub.
Punka Stub. You're not a punk.
Can you
in my-
like give yourself an
Well,
easier
thanks for
to
giving us
pronounce
dead air
name?
punker stuff.
Yeah.
That was a long 30 seconds of.
Anyway, basically, do it.
All right, Ali's
and it-
chucking a miss, love. Staring at the
a
street.
good-
Well, no, it's just because like you guys distracted me.
we don't really stand a chance, do we?
It's a good. That dude, come on, that is a massive point. That is empowering, because this whole it is kind of like the old world idea of like, what you've got to do is write to your local congressman on pen and paper and tell him.
No, but that doesn't
No,
work.
but what he's saying is going to be more effective.
Way more effective.
Because then the politicians
Honestly,
are not going
taking
to get
control
money.
of your super solves every problem.
dude,
Paul Keating is a visionary. How good is he's the real 4D chess player.
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that that old world of I'm going to write to blah 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 is bullshit. I'm going to complain to Scott Morrison. It's dead. It's dead. It's done.
It doesn't work.
Put your money into
Stop protesting.
Like
it
money
doesn't work.
Money talks. And if you can, I didn't know that could be done with super money. And if that's the case, how much would that be the ultimate fuck you if through Australia's super contributions they could buy out companies that they could challenge companies that buy out the libs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a roundabout way of doing it. So everybody's always saying that you need to stand up, come together, and vote out a government like the Liberal Party that is sympathetic to
But in this sort of
no, what you do is you become the bosses of the business, so you actually do force the Liberal Party to work for you.
Play the game.
But once you become a boss, I wonder if you're going to do what you're asking them to do. Listen, because like, dude, your interest
But it's
change.
like your point
once
that
you're
you're
in a
always saying
corporation,
that
you
need to get shares in these companies. That's how you do it. That is there is the path.
Yeah, but
there.
at this point, like,
And it's
this
the way
may
that
be
you
even
organise it.
doable at the moment because soon this was. You know how we talk about like how the bottom 90% has less wealth than the top 10%.
Yeah.
That means the bottom 90%. If we're talking about literally money and making money talk, the bottom 90% has less influence than the top 10%.
Yeah, which means that you only need about 2% of the population to decide that's it. We're buying every company.
Which also means you have a very small window because this inequality is growing.
Smaller and smaller.
So eventually, the bottom 99% will have the same amount of power as the top 1%, which you could argue is still the case. But if you do what Jordan is saying, as in divert your money into things that you find better
if it's just 1%,
at least
only
for the
need
time being, it'll
2%.
work.
You just halve the amount of people that need to do it. The point is that at some point, there's going to be an extremely wealthy class and then Jeff Bezos. But if this extremely wealthy class gets together and forms the thing that they have spent the last 100 years doing, which is destroying a union, they could fuck Jeff Bezos over.
It's pretty cool.
Damn, if we've got Sky News on our side, Sky is the limit.
Actually, that could happen.